Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of KSPNtv Sports Center. I'm Josh Mechanick, and we've got a very special episode today as we're joined by head coach of the Conejo Oaks, Dave Soliz. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks for having me, Josh. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to this episode, and obviously, the Oaks are incredibly hot right now, won 7 in a row. What do you think's been the key to this win streak?
Oh, coach has been talking in the dugout during games, after games, and right now we're running the bases really well. Three things: we're running the bases really well, we're playing really good defense, and we're getting a really good starting pitching that sets a good tone for the game. That's really what it's coming down to.
And then looking at these past week of games for the Oaks, it was a couple of back-to-backs against the Barons, also faced the Sunrays a couple of times. Is it easier to manage a team when you're facing the same teams over and over again in the span of a week?
Well, it's plus and minus, right? Because you're familiar with them, but they're familiar with you. So, each each game it's essentially an individual game. So, even though there's more information to be had when you play a team more often, it really is just the way it worked out, with last week. Obviously started with the previous Sunday, the Sunrays, but then we had that kind of a wild eighth and ninth inning in Orange County, and it kind of kickstarted us a little bit, gave us good energy, and we were able to carry it through the weekend.
You want to talk us through the end of that game, that Orange County game? That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, we were. I believe we got out of that game. Started out two. We got a 2-run lead. Then they tied it up. Then they took a 5-2 lead in the eighth. Fortunately, we got 3 runs to tie it in the eighth, and then that ninth inning became pretty interesting. You get 5 runs, and even though in baseball it's never over, right? You got to get every out, whether it's a 1-run lead or a 5-run or a 10-run lead. You still have to go out in the bottom of the ninth and execute. And credit to Orange County, they didn't just mail it in. They came out swinging. I believe they opened that inning with 3 straight hits, and which sets up the tying run closer to coming to the plate. A couple of things happen before you know it. Tying runs on second base with 1 out, and we had 2 really nice defensive plays to end the game. The catch and fell territory by Baltowski. That's not an easy catch down there. And then that last play, it was a base hit headed for center field, and Decker was able to stab it on the mound, the comebacker, and what might look just like a comebacker. That ball was headed for center field, and the game was going to be tied. And so credit to our guys for continuing to play at the bottom of the half of the inning, even we're up 5. But it was definitely a shot in the arm because we generally play well there, but we some of the guys that have been with us year to year, and I don't remember it, but they were like, "Hey, coach, we don't win here very often," and so that was a good one. That was a good Tuesday to go into the day off on Wednesday.
Yeah, and the Oaks have just built on the momentum from there. So let's take a look at this past week of games for the Oaks. So it was started with the win against the Sunrise last Sunday, as you mentioned, and then Tuesday, obviously that crazy one against the Riptide. Charlie Decker coming up big in that ninth inning. And now we've seen that Team Philippines. This is, I don't know what, the third or fourth year that they've played the Team Philippines, and they've played them again this upcoming week. And then 3 in a row, beating the Sunrise and 2 against the Barons in kind of dominating fashion, right, Dave?
Yeah, we going to the Team Philippines. Their head coach Bill Pickett's is a really good friend of mine, and we've known each other since college. And he's also the head coach at Pierce Community College, and he's done a really nice job with the program there, not just with this team, but with the entire program with Team Philippine. And we enjoy playing them because it's generally good competition in a non-league fashion, and so we added that game. Initially that we were supposed to play the Riptide on that day, but they had a scheduling issue, so we had to move that one to later in July. Picked up the extra game with Team Philippines, and then it was nice to get back on the field. I didn't want 2 days off. I didn't want the Wednesday and Thursday off, so we added that game there, going into Friday with the Sunrays, and we could talk about the longevity of the Conejo Oaks and when we started, and off camera, we're talking a little bit about former players and where they're at now, so to speak. And the manager for the Sunrays actually is a former Oak. We coached him, Grant Mayo. He's a really good guy, and they're one of our affiliates this year, and he's doing a really nice job with the Sunrays, but we were able to go out there and pitch well again, play good defense, get some timely hitting, and it just rolled in the weekend. Saturday we came out and we swung the bats really well again, played really good defense, and ran the bases really well. Yesterday was just one of those games where we pitched well, we played good defense, but we scored all of our runs in one inning. I'm not going to complain. 5 runs in one inning, which really helps, but it wasn't a inning 1 through 9 game that we've had previously. But we've still been able to pitch well, and that's been able to keep us sharp last week.
And there can't have been too many unbeaten weeks for the Oaks, but it's pretty awesome to go entire week
Yeah,
unbeaten.
I did come home. I was talking to McKenna and my wife, and I said, I can't remember when, the last time we had an unbeaten week, the entire week, you maybe 3-1, 4-1, something like that. But I don't remember a full week, Sunday to Sunday, where we didn't lose. And obviously that's nice.
Well, yeah, that win streak has propelled the Oaks to first in the standings. As we look ahead to next week's games, they're finally back on the road on Tuesday, taking on the Arroyo Seco Saints, and that's got to feel like a cursed fixture the last couple times that we've gone down to Pasadena.
Yeah, the that game there obviously with weekend one, getting walked off on, 4 runs in the ninth. Again, in baseball it's never over, so you got to play every out. And credit to them, they did a good job of getting that win. But we're looking forward to this week. Every week I always tell myself, or every game, this is a big one, this is a big one. Well, they're all big, of course, and they're all again individual and equally as important. But for as good a week as we had last week, we're looking forward to building off that and hopefully continuing what we've been doing.
Well, with that win streak, the Oaks have jumped to first in the CCL South standings, sitting at 12-5 on the summer, as we can see right here, tied with the Santa Barbara Foresters, also 12-5, also on a win streak. So if the Oaks are able to keep this little win streak going, it would be really cool to see them in first place heading into that series or little 2-game series with the Foresters on Friday and Saturday. And obviously we know Santa Barbara's always an incredibly tough team.
Sure, absolutely.
And then following the Foresters are the Saints and the Riptide at 10-6 and 10-7. A lot of high quality baseball being played in CCL this year. 4 teams over 500, and the Barons just right behind as we got the 2 affiliates sitting at the bottom of the standings in their first year with the CCL. So it's got to be difficult for them to get themselves under their feet. Also, Dave, I've heard that for the Pirates and the San Diego Sunrays, all of their games take place on the road. Is that correct?
Well, all their games against the full members take place on the road. So when the Pirates or the Sunrays play, us or the Foresters, the Riptide or Academy, Orange County, they play on the road. When they play each other, they'll play a home game there. But part of the deal with the affiliate schedule was part of the agreement with the CCL was that they would agree to play on the road. So obviously, for us, the added home games is a nice touch, but for them and the Pirates, it does, it makes for difficult travel, I would imagine, day in and day out, you're on the road, and you're not going to be at home, so to speak. But this is probably from in talking to the two coaches and the 2 staffs of those them, they're, willing to try to pay their dues to see if they can continue this relationship with the CCL. And the play on the field's been really good. I mean, obviously you see the Pirates there and with 4 wins, and one of them was against us. So the quality of play is really good.
Yeah, certainly no slouches. And it would be cool to see, as you mentioned, if their relationship with the CCL can build over the coming years.
Sure.
As we take a look at the Northern Division standings, which is a very shifted North Division from what we've seen the last couple of years. No more Healdsburg Prune Packers, who, of course, have won the CCL the last couple of years, as well as the Lincoln Potters also leaving the CCL North for the Inland Empire League. So that leaves the Walnut Creek Crawdads, who have always seemed to be very competitive in the CCL North. They're actually the only team over 500, sitting at 13-5. And we got 2 8-8 teams in the Menlo Park Legends, and then the familiar face, the San Luis Obispo Blues, who course, the Oaks have faced a lot over the years, just moving from the south to the north. And the Oaks actually play the Blues this year, don't they, Dave?
We played twice. If I can look at, we have them coming up here week after week, and that next week on the 10th, they come to us, and then we go to them on the 21st. So it is a little different feel with San Luis joining the North this year. Normally we would have already played about 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times. And this year, a trip to San Luis is always nice. They have, good environment, good crowd. And, this year we only have to go up to travel up there one time. They travel us one time. So the complexion North has shifted a little bit, but a couple of the, mainstays with the Blues, the Crawdads, and Brent Cummings does a really nice job with the Crawdads. And then Menlo Park, they were a former full member of the CCL previously. Now they're back as a full member. And with Sonoma, they've been in for a couple of years. We have yet to play them, or the over the years anyways, we have yet to play them or the 2 affiliates. But with the Crawdads, Menlo, we played them with their previous tenure, and then obviously San Luis Obispo. But it's still quality baseball in the North, very much quality.
Yeah, it's cool when playoff time comes around where you could see the North and South Division teams facing off against each other, which obviously they don't get to do throughout the rest of the summer.
Right.
Maybe try and explain, Josh, what the after season is about in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, actually, the playoffs seem to change from year to year. Like, I'm honestly not entirely sure the format. Dave, do you know?
Yeah, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So the what it's going to look like is the North and the South are going to mirror each other. So to start, it'll be 2 separate. When I say 2 separate, instead of all playoff North and South teams convening into one location, the top 3 teams in the South will make the playoffs, with the number 1 team in the South earning a bye. So 2 and 3 will play each other in a single game. The winner of that game will play the 1 in the South in a single game. The winner of that game is the South champion. The same thing will happen in the North. So at the end of it, there'll be a North champion, a South champion, and those 2 teams will meet. And this year it's been decided that the 3-game set will be played in the North. So whoever is the host team up there, whoever comes out as the champion, the winner of the North will host the 3-game set. So the 1 team from the South will travel to the North for that 3-game set to determine the CCL state champion.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you. I believe that was pretty similar to what it was last year. The format.
It is. Yeah. We're trying to, this seems to be so far what we found second year in anyways with this format. It seems to be the best format.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And we still get the one matchup between a CCL North and CCL South team, which is exactly what everyone wants. Well, Dave, I think that's all we got for you. So thank you all for joining us on this KSPN Sports Center, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.